I was this article on Bleach Report. I was told that there are multiple Chicago Bulls trades in it. So today we have to react. It said, "'Tis the season for blockbuster NBA trades. Fa la 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 la." It's going to be interesting, man, because for the last couple of years, I've been hoping and praying for some movement with the Chicago Bulls. And it feels like that's going to happen this season. I am so very afraid of it, though. I don't know the last time I felt like we won a trade. So I'm definitely nervous and everything, but let's see what the guys over at Bleacher Report have cooked up for Zach LaVine, Jimmy Butler, and more. Over the last couple of years, socks have become a huge staple of gifts I receive, and I promise you that's not a bad thing because of brands like Bombas. See, Bombas is a comfort-focused premium basics brand with a mission to help people in need. The brand launched when they found out that the #1 most requested thing in homeless shelters was socks. And now one purchase with Bombas is one thing donated to people in need. But it's not just the mission that makes Bombas dope, it's the quality of the products. In my 28 years of life, I've gone through a lot, and I mean a lot of what we like to call house shoes. You know, you take your outdoor shoes off at the door, do you put on something comfortable for the inside? Well, these are my pair of Bombas. And as you can tell, they get worn every single day. Ever felt like you were walking on a cloud? Yep. But it is more than slippers and socks. They got underwear, they got t-shirts, they got great deals for the holiday season. So since Bombas is hooking us up with a sponsorship, they're hooking y'all up with a deal. If you hit the link in the description and use code Kenny20, you can get 20% off your first purchase with Bombas. And I want to remind you that one purchase is one donated. And I want to remind you that the quality is A1. Shout out to Bombas again for sponsoring this video. Zach LaVine to Denver. This is probably the traditional trade that we keep seeing on the internet, which is Michael Porter Jr. and Zeke Nnaji for Zach LaVine. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Okay, so this is the one that's been thrown around a lot. There was a report, who said it? Was it Stein? I think it was Stein that came out and said the Bulls are not interested in taking Zeke Nnaji's contract, which makes sense. Zeke Nnaji is not a good basketball player, and he's basically guaranteed 3 more years of money. And in the current NBA, you can't be paying an awful NBA player $8 million, $7 million, and $7 million back-to-back years. But here's what I say about it. And I'm not, just look at this in a vacuum. Since the Bulls, in theory, should not be doing anything for the next couple of years, we should be going tank. We should be trying to pile up on multiple high first-round picks. Paying Zeke Nnaji for 2 more seasons shouldn't be that bad of a thing because in that 2-year span, we're not competing for nothing. But the reason I'm saying in a vacuum is because I would want something back. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know Denver doesn't have any second-round picks, but when you're acquiring a bad contract, typically you get thrown in some extra capital. There's no capital here at all. I have gone both ways when it comes to this trade for the Denver Nuggets because, yes, there are plenty of times I feel like they could use this extra offensive weapon. I mean, Zach LaVine would be offensively the best weapon Jokic has ever played with. I like that, but also I don't think he feels the holes of the team's deficiencies, right? This is a team that struggles defensively a lot of times with their size and athleticism. When it comes to rebounding and stuff, Zach LaVine comes in and he can score. That's like his thing. He can score. But that's not really what the team is lacking in this moment in time. But also, I'm like, they need to do something. And if this is the best they can do, so be it, because some of those other players across the market that are perfect fits, those dudes are going to be more expensive. Those dudes are going to require draft capital. Those dudes might require a young player. Zach LaVine is readily available without having to get up a ton. So, I don't know. In a Bulls fan's perspective, that's the perspective. You know. All right, trade number 2. Zach LaVine to Detroit. Okay, this is one I wasn't prepared for. And it's going to be Simone Fontecchio, Tim Hardaway Jr., Jaden Ivey for Torrey Craig and Zach LaVine. Okay, I like this trade for the Bulls more than this trade because Jaden Ivey, in theory, is a young, talented, well, not in theory, he is a young, talented player. The ceiling is really what the question is. At least we get something back and we can tell the fans, hey, over the next couple of years, we're going to be developing this guy. This is interesting because there's been a lot of conversations on Detroit Twitter, Detroit Pistons Twitter specifically, because Jaden Ivey missed these 2 games, that win versus Miami, then a loss to Utah, which is, that loss to Utah was bad. But he missed a couple games, right? And in these games, in his replacement, one of his replacements was Asar Thompson. And there was a real conversation about like, oh my God, Asar Thompson fits a lot better with Cade Cunningham than Jaden Ivey. The numbers say the exact opposite. Whoa, that is a bad number. That's a bad number. But if we switch that out and go with Jaden Ivey, let's see exactly what happens here. It's still not great, but Lord knows it's way better than a -22. Now, this is one of those situations where I have to concede that I'm not in the know enough about Detroit Pistons basketball to say that the people on Twitter are right or wrong. But for what it's worth, Zach LaVine is leagues ahead of Jaden Ivey as an NBA player. The question is, what does Detroit want to do? Because if I'm not mistaken, their pick is like top 10 protected this year. Do they want to go in and compete for that play-in spot and maybe make some noise that way? Do they want to take a step back and say, hey, we have proof of concept. We know that Cade Cunningham is this. We know that this player is this. Maybe we take one more lottery pick before next year is the real year we try to go a little bit harder there. I don't really know what the front office is really thinking, but whatever they are thinking, they have to make the decision relatively soon. As a Bulls fan, if this trade happened today, I would say we did it. You know, we got off the Zach LaVine money. Zach LaVine goes to a team that is at least competing on the day-to-day basis a little bit better than we are. Notice doesn't put him on that championship playoff team that I want to see him go to, but I will walk away from this and saying we did a good job. Kobe White. Kobe White to San Antonio. Okay, so we get Keldon Johnson, Blake Wesley, a first-round pick. We get our own first-round pick back. Okay, we get a Charlotte Hornets first-round pick that is lottery protected that turns into 2 second-round picks if it doesn't convey. That is what is going to happen. The Charlotte Hornets are 100% a lottery team this season. Then we get another second-round pick that is our very own. We get a 2027 first-round pick from Atlanta and a 2030 second-round pick from from Cleveland. Then we give up Javon and Kobe White. Kobe White, as of today, is what my second to third favorite player in all of basketball. But one thing I was asked a little while ago, is there anybody on the Bulls roster that should be considered untouchable? And my answer is no. Kobe White is on one of the best contracts in all of basketball. He's still a 17-point per game scorer. And though currently he's not playing nearly as good as he was last year, I still do believe that there is a ceiling there that is untapped. But he shouldn't be untouchable. Like, if the right trade becomes available, we have to think about 3 years, 4 years down the line. Is this the right trade? I mean, we're getting real capital here. Like, getting on a first-round pick is huge, right? But then again, maybe not so much, because at the end of the day, the Bulls, if they are trading away Kobe White, they're looking to be a top 10 team, right? A top 10 draft pick team. So this pick only conveys, getting that pick back only matters if we're number 11 through 30. So maybe it's not that big of a deal. So this, in theory, could be basically Atlanta's first round pick in a bunch of seconds. And that doesn't overwhelm me enough. And maybe I'm being unrealistic. I'm being biased in Kobe White's value. I can recognize that since he is one of my favorite players on my favorite team, that I may value him more than the general consensus may be. But this basically could potentially boil down to Keldon Johnson, Blake Wesley, one first round pick, and then second round picks. Do they ever really matter? If it's Jokic, yeah. But for the most part, not so much. I actually really, really like this if I am the San Antonio Spurs, because I've been thinking, like, who could be that secondary offensive player alongside Wemby? Of course, you do have Devin Vassell, who's starting to get back into the swing of things. And so many people have drawn up, like, players like Trae Young or this guy or that guy. Maybe a guy with not Trae Young's ceiling or not Trae Young's production like Kobe White might be the right fit. You think about them really grooming Stephon Castle to be the point guard of the future. Kobe White has played off guard for the majority of his career. So you can say that we have, as a young core, it could be a Stephon Castle, Kobe White, Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, and Victor Wembanyama. I really like what that team could potentially look like. And if this is the price, then that ain't too bad. You didn't even give up any of your own first-round picks. It's like, here, Chicago, take your pick back. Here's this Charlotte pick that we know not going to turn into a real first-rounder. And here's Atlanta's pick. Atlanta's pick could be valuable for all we know. Who the hell knows what the NBA is going to look like 2.5 years down the line? But if this trade happened, I would go through all of the same stages of grief that I went with Alex Caruso, bro. Because it would be a tough pill for me to swallow. But I could see a world where in 2027 we walk out and say that was the right deal. Because this is what Kobe White is looking at right now, right? This is what he's looking like. He's on one of the best deals in basketball, but it's really just this year or next year. And the one thing I don't want to do is wait too long to the value that, if you're going to end up trading him, the value that you get for him is not that great, right? Last year expiring contract, you might not get a first round pick for something like that. Or do we want to say Kobe White at the age of, how old is he now? 26? He's 24, almost 25. At the age of 25, and I guess when he comes extension eligible or able to sign the next week, he's 26, 27. Do we want to be like, hey, we're paying you $30 million a year? Because that's the type of player he's playing like. One thing we know about the Chicago Bulls front office, they've never really been a proactive team. They're a reactive team. So who knows? This is a tough one. I like it for the San Antonio Spurs, though. I'll tell you that much. Jimmy Butler to the Lakers. Is there any Lakers Jimmy Butler buzz? I don't know. But again, this is just random trade. So the Pistons, who are in this, get a Jalen Hood-Schifino on a second-round pick. Okay, and then the Miami Heat get Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, Gabe Vincent is back, baby. He's back. His superpower is going to be back. A Toronto second-round pick that's top 55 protected. A Lakers first-round pick for 2029, top 4 protected, turns into a 2023 second-round pick if not conveyed, or 2030 second-round pick if not conveyed. A 2031 first-round pick, top 5 protection, turns into a second if not conveyed. And Jimmy Butler goes to the Lakers. Ugh. This is kind of a cluster, right? I'm not really liking anything I'm seeing here at all. I'm gonna have to like hard pass this on almost every angle. I don't know if 36-year-old Jimmy Butler is the person that we spend the 2 first-round picks on if I'm the Lakers. Is that crazy? Because obviously the talent level goes up a lot. You're replacing Rui Hachimura with Jimmy Butler. Yes, you win that. But you got a 36-year-old star that's adamant about going to get that next contract. You got a 40-year-old star there as well. And then, like, one of the things I hate about the Lakers is they're not fast or athletic enough. And they don't have shooting either. Jimmy Butler adds some of that athleticism, of course, but not to the same level as some of the other dudes across basketball. He's obviously not the shooter that they would want on the team. I don't really like Jimmy Butler's fit in Los Angeles, man. Of course, talent upgrade undeniable, but there might be a reason why those Jimmy Butler destinations, whether they're real or not, didn't have the Lakers on it. It's not a great fit. And if you're the Lakers, if you're going to use 2029 and 2031, you might want somebody that fits just a little bit better. Oh, now they're selling. Anthony Davis to Golden State. Anthony Davis for Jonathan Kuminga, Kevon Looney, Andrew Wiggins, a 2025 first-round pick, a 2026 swap, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 swap, a 2030 first-round pick, protected number 21 to 30. Whoa, that is a package for Anthony Davis. He might be, between this trade and the Pelicans to LA trade, he might be, if this trade happens, the person traded for the most first-round picks in existence. Look at this. 1 first rounder, then a swap, another first rounder, then a swap, but then another first rounder. I mean, if you're gonna sell, this is not a bad package to get for Anthony Davis. If you're gonna sell, if you're gonna buy for the Warriors, like, look, Anthony Davis in his early 30s. I don't think he's slowing down anytime soon. But then that means you got to trade Braun too. Now, what are you trading Braun? Because Braun's supposed to be the Golden State guy, right? This is a fun hypothetical trade. If you are trading away Anthony Davis, this is not a bad return for him, man. This is not a bad return. Unless you're saying to yourself, that 2027 first round is not going to be great because Anthony Davis and Steph Curry, in theory, are still going to be on the team. That's a playoff team at the bare minimum. So you're saying that we're trading away Anthony Davis for, let's say, the 20th overall pick this year, the 22nd overall pick this year, and then in 2030, who knows? Steph Curry's already mid-30s, so who knows what happens by then. But you probably feel that same way if you were the Clippers who did the Shai Gilgeous, Paul George trade. You probably feel the same way about all of the blockbuster trades in basketball. You never really know until it's happening. An ankle tweak, Steph Curry decline, Anthony Davis decline can turn these picks to real valuable really quick. I'm saying yes to this one. Have I said yes to any trade this video other than that one? Probably not. But I like that one because it's a 2K trade. At the end of the day, this is a 2K trade. I love that it got us to think. That's all I want from these trades. Sometimes you're going to love them, sometimes you're going to hate them, but it's going to make you think. If you enjoyed the video, leave it a like, subscribe. Which trade do you like? Which trade do you not?